measure what is measurable, and make measurable what is not so. The universe is a grand book which cannot be read until one first learns to comprehend the language and become familiar with the characters in which it is composed. It is written in the language of mathematics. I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. Where the senses fail us, reason must step in. Two truths cannot contradict one another. If I were again beginning my studies, I would follow the advice of Plato and start with mathematics. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. You cannot teach a person something he does not already know. You can only bring what he does know to his awareness. Knowing thyself, that is the greatest wisdom. God is known by nature in his works and by doctrine in his revealed word. Mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe. I have never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. The greatest wisdom is to get to know oneself. I've loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. You can't teach anybody anything, only make them realize the answers are already inside them. Wine is sunlight, held together by water. Nonetheless, it moves. To understand the universe, you must understand the language in which it's written, the language of mathematics. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. Passion is the genesis of genius. In questions of science, the authority of 1,000 is not worth the humble reasoning of a single individual. By denying scientific principles, one may maintain any paradox. We cannot teach people anything. We can only help them discover it within themselves. What has philosophy got to do with measuring anything? It's the mathematicians you have to trust, and they measure the skies like we measure a field. The Milky Way is nothing else but a mass of innumerable stars planted together in clusters. Mathematics is the key and door to the sciences. You may force me to say what you wish. You may revile me for saying what I do, but it moves. Philosophy is written in that great book which ever lies before our eyes. I mean the universe, but we cannot understand it if we do not first learn the language and grasp the symbols in which it is written. The book of nature is written in a language of mathematics. It is a beautiful and delightful sight to behold the body of the moon. The prohibition of science would be contrary to the Bible, which in hundreds of places teaches us how the greatness and the glory of God shine forth marvelously in all his works, and is to be read above all in the open book of the heavens. Nothing occurs contrary to nature except the impossible, and that never occurs. See now the power of truth. The same experiment which at first glance seemed to show one thing, when more carefully examined, assures us of the contrary. There are those who reason well, but they are greatly outnumbered by those who reason badly. If you could see the earth illuminated when you were in a place as dark as night, it would look to you more splendid than the moon. Who would dare assert that we know all there is to be known? Nature is relentless and unchangeable, and it is indifferent as to whether its hidden reasons and actions are understandable to man or not. In my studies of astronomy and philosophy, I hold this opinion about the universe, that the sun remains fixed in the center of the circle of heavenly bodies without changing its place, and the earth, turning upon itself, moves round the sun. Science proceeds more by what it has learned to ignore than what it takes into account. Being infinitely amazed, so do I give thanks to God, who has been pleased to make me the first observer of marvelous things, unrevealed to bygone ages. Names and attributes must be accommodated to the essence of things, and not the essence to the names, since things come first and names afterwards. The deeper I go in considering the vanities of popular reasoning, the lighter and more foolish I find them. What greater stupidity can be imagined than that of calling jewels, silver, and gold precious, and earth and soil base? Facts, which at first seem improbable, will, even on scant explanation, drop the cloak which has hidden them and stand forth in naked and simple beauty. It is surely harmful to souls to make it a heresy to believe what is proved. I think that in the discussion of natural problems, we ought to begin not with the scriptures, but with experiments and demonstrations. They who depend upon manifest observations will philosophize better than those who persist in opinions repugnant to the senses. We must say that there are as many squares as there are numbers. I do not know what to say in a case so surprising, so unlooked for, and so novel. The fear of infinity is a form of myopia that destroys the possibility of seeing the actual infinite, even though it in its highest form has created and sustains us.